gal Jen Dionne and I thought that I would take some time and tell you my lung cancer diagnosis story. Everybody has one, how they came about it.
What's your story? What's your sign?
I'm going to have to say that mine is definitely non-traditional to the hilt, completely and totally. Most people, when they're diagnosed with lung cancer, they have symptoms, so they go to the doctor. Coughing up blood, whatever have you. Usually by that time, it has metastasized or it has spread to other organs, so you're stage 3 or 4. I was stage 1 cancer and I was barely stage 1 cancer, so let me tell you my story. First of all, my story begins with God. He is the Alpha and the Omega. It's where everything begins and everything will end with God. So I'm going to tell you that the reason I got diagnosed with lung cancer was totally 100% Jesus and God working together up above to watch over me. I believe that this is because my journey here on earth has not come to an end. There is still something I need to do. I have a purpose and I haven't fulfilled it. So God has decided to get rid of my lung cancer early so I can still do that early on. So I am a 49-year-old non-smoking lung cancer patient. I have never smoked anything in my entire life. My story is, however, I grew up with a smoker. So for 18 years, I was forced to endure my smoking mom who smoked all around me. She also smoked when she was pregnant because that was what they did back in the 70s. So I am one of the rare cases. I've had a running joke with my children for a very, very long time that if I die of lung cancer, I am going to blame my mom. That was just a joke. I've always told them that. Probably been saying that for about a decade. Then one day I am scrolling Fox News, and on Fox News there's an article about undiagnosed lung cancer, and it talked about those who grew up exposed to secondhand smoke. Well, immediately a little bell went off in my head and God or Jesus immediately said, hey, you should get this checked out. So what I did was I sent a message online through my portal to my doctor, my family doctor. And I was all like, hey, I think I want to get a CT scan because that's what this article recommended just to see, if I have lung cancer. Well, he immediately was like, well, you're at such low risk. Insurance isn't going to cover it. Are you sure you want to pay? Well, I was like, oh, okay. Well, how much is this? So I called up my CT scanner facility and was like, hey, how much is this? So like, oh yeah, like $800. It's like, okay, fine. $800. It's a lot of money, but it's worth it to find out if I have lung cancer. Messaged my doctor back and I was like, yeah, it's fine. I'll go ahead and do it. He's like, well, are you sure? Because, you're at very, very low risk, but if you want to do it, I'll order it. So I'm like, yeah, order it. So I went and got a CT scan. So my family doctor reviews the first scan. I was like, oh, guess what? There actually was a nodule and they actually found some. There was also some smaller nodules too, but he wasn't worried about that one. He's like, okay, well, what I think I'm going to do is you can either do a PET scan or you can wait 3 months and then do another CT scan, and it would probably be covered by insurance this time around. Well, I had no clue what a PET or PET scan actually was. So of course I had to Google, and they're like, oh, they inject radioactive material into your arm to see if you have cancer because cancer cells absorb it and then they light up on the scan. And I was like, okay, fine. Sounded expensive, and it was. And I called my insurance and they're like, yeah, $1,800 for the scan. I was like, great, sounds great. I decided I don't want to wait. That's just the type A personality I am. I don't want to wait. I want to find out what that is and make sure it's not cancer. So I go and I do the PET scan, and it had some uptake, but the PE scan was billed by the radiologist as inconclusive. So my primary doctor gets us back. He's like, okay, so the PET scan reveals that it's inconclusive. So what I'm going to do is recommend that you see a pulmonologist who can decide your next steps. So I go and I see a pulmonologist, and the pulmonologist was kind of, very much shocked and surprised that I was there. And he's like, oh, so tell me your story, why did you even get a CT scan and then a PET scan, PET scan? So I told him my story. And while I was telling him the Fox News story about non-smokers, he's like, oh yeah, you can't believe anything. So he was kind of a naysayer too. So as you can tell, my journey has been pushing and pushing through naysayers. I was like, oh, you can't believe that. I was like, okay, fine, whatever. So he goes over the entire scan with me. He's like, yeah, it's inconclusive. So you have 2 choices. You can either do a biopsy, which is where they stick, a tube and a camera down your throat. It's robotic. So they just go in and the robot just takes a slice of your tumor, nodule to see what it is. We send that off and then we find out if it's cancer or not, or you can wait 3 months to see if it gets bigger. Here's my thought pattern. Why would you wait 3 months to see if it gets bigger? I don't want to walk around thinking, oh, I might have cancer for 3 months growing in my body, and then it gets bigger and it's just even more of a pain in the butt. Because here's what I learned about cancer. Cancer only grows. It does not stop. As soon as you have cancer, it grows, and that's how it spreads. So I was like, okay, let's do the biopsy. So we get the biopsy scheduled. Not excited at all about it. I mean, it involves needles. They have to put you under anesthesia. It's like a 45-minute hour procedure. They shove stuff down your throat and take a little bit, and then you find out. So, okay, luckily for that, I did that. And like that day and the next day, I was kind of like, but then I was fine. Then I find out later that week, in about 3 or 4 days, that yes, indeed, it is cancer and I have lung cancer. Then I'm referred to my lung cancer surgeon. So I schedule a consultation with her, and she is all like, okay, so tell me your story. So I told her the entire story, and she looks me dead in the eye and she's like, I would have done the exact same thing that you did. I wouldn't have waited. I would have gotten everything checked out. So then you have lung cancer. We can get it out and we can get it hopefully, quote unquote, cured, even though it's never totally cured. They can't ever say that, because once you have cancer, there's always a chance of reoccurrence that it can come back, which is why I have to get CT scans the rest of my life. But I was finally vindicated. So then I told my story several times throughout different people. Like I had to do a breathing test, told them, I told some nursing students about it. I told my nurse navigator, and everybody was just like shocked. They were just super proud, and like, you did the right thing, that you kept pushing and advocating for your own health. And that's what I think that people have to do. It's like, you have to take charge of your own health. And if you think that something inside of you is telling you that you need to go do something, you need to go do something. So for me, it was God and Jesus, that little voice in the back of my head, God speaking to me like, Jen, you should really go get this checked out, because I'm telling you right now. And if you ignore me, it would have just grown and probably spread, and it would have been terrible 3 to 5 to 10 years down the road if they had finally found my lung cancer. So all I can say is everybody that I talked to was just like blown away that I'd actually ignored everybody else saying, oh yeah, you can just wait. So my advice to you is don't wait. Just, however much the money is, your health is worth it. Like, just go get a CT scan if you suspect you may have cancer. Or for me, my whole journey was just, I just want peace of mind. I just want to know that I don't have lung cancer, because in the back of my head, I'm like, I'm going to get lung cancer thanks to my mom. And lo and behold, I had lung cancer. And yes, I only had less than a 10% chance of having lung cancer, but I did. And I am one of those very, very small statistics. But because I listened to God and Jesus, I am standing here today, probably going to move on with my life and have no repercussions, no shortness of life because of this lung cancer. Yeah, I had to give up a couple months of my life while I wait to heal, but in the grand scheme of things, no big deal. But I do know that God told me to do this for a reason, a purpose. There is a purpose in my lung cancer diagnosis. There is a purpose in your lung cancer diagnosis. You just have to walk this journey that you didn't choose, that you would never choose. You don't want to choose it for any other person, but it's a journey that is been given to you. And in my view, it is a gift, and it is kind of a responsibility to figure out what to do with this. What are you going to do with your lung cancer diagnosis and helping others? And that's kind of what I'm doing with these videos. I'm just trying to help others. So to me, there is a purpose. There's a purpose for my life beyond after lung cancer surgery. And it's up to me to figure that out. And I am very grateful to God that I have been given that second life, if you will, to figure that out and do His purpose for me while I'm on this side of heaven. All I can say is that God had His mighty hand like all over this entire situation. It is all from Him. It is all because of Him. And that is the reason I'm standing here. So that is my lung cancer diagnosis journey in a nutshell. And if you like any of this, I have a ton of other lung cancer surgery recovery videos online, tips to heal, things they don't tell you, tips to get back into exercise and fitness. So check that out. Just subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks. Bye.
What's your story? What's your sign? It's like we're twin flames in a different light.